Hey guys, Missouri Kid Mizzou coming off a 12-2 season as SEC East champion. You heard me say that enough. It's now time to start the new season in about a month. I'm really excited. Here to give my predictions for every game. This is, going to be my honest predictions. What I really think based on what I've seen from this team in spring practice, what I hear from the team, and what I hear from other teams. So I'll be here trash talking week one. Maybe not. I won't trash talk South Dakota State. I'll give like a preview, but uh, it'll be a fun year. Mizzou with probably the most unknowns in the SEC this year. If all those unknowns turn to a positive, we again could be due for something a really good year. So game one is at home against South Dakota State. I know South Dakota State is ninth in the FCS poll, which means they're not a horrible FCS team. They're a good FCS team. They shouldn't still be able to contend with a team like Mizzou. They're not North Dakota State. We should win like 56-14, 56-21. With our offense really picking it up in the fourth quarter, knowing our players that with all the key personnel we've lost after last year. Game two at Toledo. Tough game. If you're a Toledo fan, you're going to be thrilled for this game. You get the defending SEC East champions in your building, on your turf, and you want to take advantage of that. Their crowds are known to be sneaky loud, like sneaky tough place to play. But they lose a lot. Terrence Owens, Bernard Reedy, David Flolan. Those are probably three of the better players for Toledo in the last 10 years. Last year, of course, we played them to it was 38-23, and it was a lot closer than that score. So I'm nervous, but I think we will win like 36-17, something along those lines. But I'm interested in that game. At home against UCF. UCF, dream season last year. Pulled off a win against Baylor in the Orange Bowl. Won the AAC. Beat Louisville at Louisville. So it's gonna be an interesting game. They lose a lot though. They obviously lose Blake Bortles. They lose Storm Johnson, but they do return their top three wide receivers and their tight end. They return two starters on the offensive line. So I'm interested. I really think the D-line and O-line will reassert themselves. They don't return anybody on the defensive line, but they return six of their top seven starters and their linebackers and secondary, including their entire secondary, comes back. So I'm expecting that they'll shut down the passing game, but I think Russell Hansbrough, Marcus Murphy will have big games, and we'll win that one like 42-31 because I think they'll be able to put up some points. Maybe on the lower side, maybe check that. Maybe like 27-20, something like that. It should be a good game, though. It could go either way. It could be a really high-scoring game or it could be a really low-scoring game. I do expect the running game to really take over in that game, though. Then we got at home against Indiana. Indiana loses Trey Roberson to transfer. So Nate Sedfeld's going to be their quarterback. He's a stand-back in the pocket passing type. Trey Roberson was their option guy. They do have a great running back in Tevin Coleman, and they return 9 starters on defense. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing because their defense is horrible. We destroyed them last year in their building 45-28. Now we get to SEC play. We should be 4-0. I didn't give a score prediction for Indiana. But Indiana, with how bad their defense is, probably we could put up 45 again. And then they'll put up their fair share of points, like 28, 24, something like that. And then now we get an SEC play at South Carolina. South Carolina loses all those big-name players you hear about. Connor Shaw, Jadeveon Clowney, Chad Sutton. But they bring back Mike Davis. Dylan Thompson's serviceable. He can improve. He didn't play that well at Mizzou last year, but he has led the team to wins at South Carolina. At Clemson, excuse me. Won that bowl game against Michigan when Connor Shaw got hurt. So they've got plenty of talent, especially up front, where they return 4 out of their 5 starters. I can look at that real quick, actually. They return 3 out of 5. My apologies. But they return a lot. And they return. Actually, they don't return that much on defense. Secondary's young. So I think we will be able to put up our points in the passing game, but eventually I think just playing on the road in Williams-Brice, it's gonna be a little much for this team, and we're gonna lose 31-24, 31-27, and or 31-21. I think it's going to be like a 7 to 10 point game, maybe a little bit more on the loss side. But hey, you never know. And then we get a bye week, and then we got at home against Georgia. Again, I'm going with the loss. 2 years ago, Georgia came to Columbia. It was tied after 3 quarters, and then they beat us down in the fourth, scoring 3 touchdowns, including that one Jarvis Jones play you see in highlight videos all the time where he stripped Franklin and scored. Again, I'm going with the loss. We beat Georgia last year in Athens. They didn't have Todd Gurley. They didn't have Keith Marshall. They didn't have a lot of the receiving threats they have now. We'll see how Mason is at quarterback. If he's solid, I think they'll beat us 41, 45, 27. I'm expecting it again to be close, and then the fourth quarter they'll pull away with that power running game behind Gurley and Marshall. But again, you know, things have happened, and we'll see if. And this is all course of injuries and stuff on both sides. Because if Mizzou doesn't have any injuries, we could still be pretty good. Get some injuries though, we could struggle. So 6 weeks in, I got us at 4-2. Then we head to Florida. This is a tough 3-game stretch for Mizzou. At South Carolina, bye week, 4-week stretch. Georgia and at Florida. I'm predicting we will beat Florida Gators at Florida though. Jeff Driscoll, as we've seen these last couple of years, is very inconsistent. He looked pretty solid last year before he got hurt, but he's never been consistent. 2 years ago, Florida won 11-2, whatever that record was when they lost in the Sugar Bowl to Louisville. They barely beat us. They beat us 14-7, and we were not nearly as good as we were last year. Last year with Matty Mock, we beat them 36-17. The offense will be better. The defense for Florida will be worse. It'll still be a good defense, but it'll be worse. I'm predicting we go in there, pull out it like 2017. We're predicting we go into Florida and beat the Gators. So that moves us to 5-2. At home against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt loses quite a bit. I'll tell you how much, actually. They do return 4 starters on the offensive line, but they do lose Jordan Matthews. They lose Austin Carter-Samuels. Pat Robinette, is he playing quarterback this year? And they only return 3 starters on defense. I think we'll win. This is our homecoming game. We should win pretty handily. I'm like 41-20, somewhere around there, 35-17. We should win that one pretty handedly. Then we play Kentucky at home. Kentucky improving vastly under Mark Stoops, bringing all these recruiting classes, but you never know how that's going to handle out. I think we will win that one. They return 5 starters on defense, 5 starters on offense, and 6 starters on defense. So you never know. Bud Dupree and Zendarius Smith are really good defensive ends. One of the better defensive end combos in the SEC. But the rest of their defense is not great, and I think we'll win that one like 30-10. Their offense is. They're off. Patrick Towles, we'll have to see how he does at quarterback, or if they start Reese Phillips, you never know. At Texas A&M, another team with a lot of question marks this year. You know, after 2 years of Johnny Manziel, Mike Evans, and all that talent they've had, they're starting over. Kyle Allen, whoever wins the QB battle there. You never know. Their defense was horrible last year, but they'll improve. There's no way they can't. And they've got a lot of talented incoming freshmen from the recruiting Kevin Sumlin has done. As far as Ricky Seals-Jones, Speedy Knoll, some of these guys that you just hear about, though, you're really impressed when you watch the tape of them from their high school. So I'm predicting we will. Unfortunately, this is the game Mizzou will drop that you should not drop. Last year with South Carolina, we should not have lost that game. South Carolina played better than us. We did in the fourth quarter and in overtime, obviously. They won the game, and deservedly so, but we played better than them for the first 3 quarters, and we didn't take advantage of opportunities. So, Texas A&M, we lose 28-24, 21-17, something like that. It's gonna be a one-possession game. At Tennessee, big game for Tennessee. Put it quite honestly, we've beaten them the last 2 years. They have never beaten the University of Missouri. We go to Knoxville. I might be attending that game, actually. I have an offer from someone to go to that game and sit with Mizzou fans. I really want to, too. I really want to see Neyland. So we'll head there. They got a lot of question marks, too. They lose both sides of the trenches. They lose their entire offensive and defensive lines. So I think this is another game where the running game will just take over and we'll pull away and win 31-14, 31-17. Offense, you never know how it's going to go. Marlon, you never know how Tennessee's offense is going to be. Marquez North is a good wide receiver, but they don't return anybody besides Marquez North, Jason Kroom, and Justin Worley, and whoever plays quarterback for them. Defensively, they returned 4 stars, including A.J. Johnson, but I think the running game will really take over in that game, and we will pull away with a win. And then finally, Arkansas at home. Excuse me. We will win that game handedly, 48-17. Senior day, big day. You don't want to lose that game, especially against now what's going to be our cross-division rival in Arkansas. You had a little back and forth with Gary Pinkel and Brett Bielema about the no huddle and the fact or fiction at the SEC media days. Who cares about that? I'm not a big fan of Brett Bielema. I think he's a good head coach, and I think he will get it turned around at Arkansas, but not this year, even with Alex Collins and some of the talent he has. So, wow, nice play, Brendan Ryan. So I think we'll win that game. So that finishes the year at 9-3. With 9-3, you're not going to the SEC title game again. You'll probably finish third, or maybe even second. You never probably third. 3 losses in conference, 5-3 in conference. So you'll probably be heading Capital One, maybe a little lower than that, maybe Gator Bowl. Probably the Gator Bowl. So, hey, what do you guys think Mizzou's going to do this year? And what about your teams? You want to give a score prediction for your team against Mizzou? Make it honest. Don't be like, oh, I think Tennessee's going to win 92-3. No, that's not going to happen. So, give what you think. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm really excited again for this season to start. I'm hoping to get more subscribers this season. You know, there's a lot of good things I hope I can do on this channel. I'm trying to improve. I'm doing college. I'm about to go to college, hopefully at the University of Missouri. So, hey, you never know. MIZ, COU, go Tigers.